Ahoy me hearties, Amir is here with another video tutorial about how to recreate a logo inside Adobe Illustrator. The logo that I've selected for this episode is this one. This is from Eddie Lobanovskiy. He's a very good designer. I'm going to show you his page on Dribbble website. I've selected this one because it contains some shapes that making them very accurately inside Illustrator sometimes is a little tricky. I'm going to design it twice. Once with the features of the Adobe Illustrator, and second time I'm going to take advantage of a plugin from Astute Graphics which is called Subscribe. That plugin is not free, it's a commercial one, but it is affordable. By the way, they didn't pay me to record this video tutorial for them. It's not a sponsored video. I just want to show you that there is something out there that you can buy, and it's going to speed up the process for you, and at the end you're going to have much cleaner artwork. And I just want to admit that I do not claim that the way that I'm going to redesign this one is going to be the most efficient way. Maybe you can design it with much more dexterity. It is the way that I came up to design this one. Let's jump into the Illustrator. Before doing anything, let me show you the page of Eddie Lobanovskiy to you. Just type here on Dribbble website, just type unfold. Okay, it's unfold. It's their page. Let me find the page of unfold. It's the unfold page, which is a team page, and all of these guys are the member of this team, and Eddie is this guy here. As you can see, the majority of the shots here coming from Eddie himself. I highly suggest you to follow them because they're very creative and is a good source of inspiration for you. I'm following them for several months and I'm quite happy because, as I said, they're very inspiring. And the logo that I'm going to work on is this one. The shape seems to be very simple, but sometimes if you want to design them very accurately, it's not that much easy. I'm going to save it to use it as a reference image inside Adobe Illustrator. Let me save it on the desktop. I'm going to save it here and close the browser. I do not need it anymore. Let me open up the Adobe Illustrator. Go to the File, New. I'm going to make a new artboard. And the size is 1280 at 720 pixel for me. Go to the File, Place, and select the image. And click and drag to load the image inside your artboard. I'm not going to make this one with color backgrounds. I'm just focusing on the shape itself. And the first step before doing anything, I need to make a guide and put it at the center of the page. For doing so, go to the View, Rulers, and Show Rulers. It's going to show you the rulers. Bring one line from top and one line from left. And at this time, they are not at the center of the page. Try to select both of them. If you cannot select them, it's because they're locked. Just click on the page and unlock the guides. Select both of them. And from here, in Properties panel, you can use this one and this one. If you do not have Properties panel, you can go to the window and open up the Align panel, and it is available here. Actually, these two lines are at the center of the page. I'm selecting both of them. You do not need to actually select them, just right click on the page and lock the guides. And they are locked. We are not going to select them accidentally. Next step is to draw a polygon here. I'm going to use the polygon tool and I'm going to click here at the intersect point. You can see the word intersect. It means that these two lines are intersecting at this point, which is the center of the page. And click here and drag. It's going to show me shapes such as this one. I can use up and down arrow key to add or remove the points. So we can reduce the size to just 3 sides. And if you hold down the shift, it's going to assure you that the shape is going to be perpendicular to the guides that you have inside the page. So I'm going to draw something similar to this one. Okay, I'm going to give it a little stroke. I mean, just one point is sufficient. And the next step is to draw a rectangle. And this rectangle must touch 2 lines. One of them is this guide at the top, and also the bottom line of this triangle that we have here. Just click and drag to have this in place. Okay, to be sure that everything is accurate, I highly suggest you to be sure that snap to pixel is off, and I'm going to draw it again to be sure that they're touching the line properly. Okay, it is the shape. And the next step, I want to draw a circle here, and this circle must touch three sides: top of this rectangle, left and bottom side of this triangle. I'm using the ellipse tool here. Just select the ellipse, click here on this line and drag to the bottom, and hold down the shift to have a perfect circle. And because a smart guide is active, when you draw this circle and the bottom of the circle going to touch the bottom of the triangle, is going to snap to that point. And at this time I want to move it to the left. Just hold on the space bar and move it to the left side to touch it with this section. At this time we have done this, and select this one, hold down the Alt and move it to the right. And if you hold down the Shift, it's going to restrict your movement to just one direction. I'm going to move it to this direction and put it here. Okay, when you have done this, the only things that you need to do is to resize this rectangle that you have and bring them to here to touch the side of these circles. I mean here and here. When you have done this, you do not need to have this triangle. You can remove that and also remove both of these circles. Select the shape that you have, round the corners, and the next step is to rotate this one 120 degrees based on this point at the center of the page. Select this one, go to the left side, rotate tool, hold down the Alt and click at this intersect point. It's going to open up the dialog box for you. Type here 120. I'm going to preview it. It's okay. Just copy this one and press Ctrl D to repeat this process again. So we have the same shape at this time. I'm going to select everything we have here, and from here, from toolbar, I'm going to select Shape Builder and click on this one, this, and this. Okay. Each of these shapes become a separate shape, and I can select this one and move it around, as you can see. And you can select everything. Sometimes when you use Shape Builder in this way, it's going to leave some artifact behind. As you can see, it's artifact here. You do not need them. You can remove them. Sometimes you have these artifacts and it's let me remove them. And I have another one here, and select everything and move it to the side. Yes, we have a bunch more at the bottom. It's the reason that I said that it's a little tricky to make them. I'm going to explain why this artifact is going to be present inside the page. I'm going to select everything and put it at the center of the page. And at this time, I can increase the stroke, for example, to 10 points. And I'm going to Object and group them together. They are at this time, they're just one shape. We can move them around. When you have two shapes and you put them on the top of each other and the border is going to touch each other, and use Pathfinder or Shape Builder, sometimes going to leave behind a bunch of extra points and some artifacts. If you want to print them, it's okay. You can have thousands of points. It's okay. But if you want to bring them to the web, it is not that much okay. You have to reduce the points as much as possible because it's going to increase the file size for you a lot. Okay, I'm going to design this one again with the plugin that I have from Astute Graphics. I'm going to put it here. I'm going to draw it again this time. The first step is exactly the same. I'm going to draw a rectangle such as this one. I'm going to reduce the stroke to just 1 point. Okay, at this time I have a tool here. If I click here, is a tangent circle tool. It's a very, very good tool. It's very helpful. I'm going to click anywhere on this side. It doesn't matter where. Just click here and move your cursor to the bottom part, bottom line. It's going to show you a circle. Click here and drag to one side. It doesn't matter, left or right. It's going to draw a circle for you, and I can eyeball it to be sure that the top part of the circle is going to touch the guides at the top. And you can do two things. If you hold down the shift, it's going to remove the decimal points. As you can see, sometimes we have just one decimal point, but if you release the shift, the decimal point going to be 2 or 3. And if you hold down the control, is going to give you much more control. It's going to increase and decrease the size of the circle gradually, so it's become much easier for you to eyeball it and select the proper size. I think at this position it is okay. Look at the number 45.7. 45.7. I'm going to release it. It's going to draw a circle here. I'm just going to click here, and just one click here is going to open up this dialog box for me. I'm typing it 45.77. Okay, it's going to draw this one for me. One click here and one click here. 45.77. Okay, it's going to draw these circles for me. Next step is to connect these circles together. There's another tool here, which is tangent line tool. It's a very smart tool. It's going to connect these two circles from proper position. You do not need to eyeball it. I'm going to, for example, click here and drag to this one. It's going to find the proper point to connect these two circles together. I'm doing it from here to here. It's very fast and also very accurate. It's going to connect these two together, such as this one. At this time, I'm going to select everything that I have inside the page, go to the shape builder, hold down the Alt to remove this top section here, and release the Alt and click here and drag to this part, click here, drag to this part, and from here to here, and click on these three sides. At this time, we have exactly the same shape, but I think it's much more accurate. If I give it 10 point, stroke is going to be like this. And I'm going to compare this one with the one that we have designed with the features of Adobe Illustrator. I'm going to bring it down here, and I'm going to reduce the size to make them the same size, such as this. Okay. And differences here. If I click here, one of these shapes, if I click on each of these shapes, look at the number of the points that we have here. We have a bunch of extra points that we do not need to have here. But look at this one, this shape that we have made here. If I click on this one, look at the number of the points that we have. 2 here, 1, 1, 1, and 1 at the bottom. It has much less points compared to this one. If you want to convert everything that you have designed, for example, this logo to SVG format, you have to keep the number of the points as low as possible, because this point is going to increase the size of the file a lot, especially in SVG case. If you like this video, you can subscribe to this channel. I'm going to release at least one video every week about illustration and also front-end web development. And until the next episode, goodbye.